From the campus of Paulsboro High School, the Gloucester County Educational Network presents Boys High School Basketball. Tonight, it's the Haddonfield Bulldogs visiting the Paulsboro Red Raiders. Hello again, everyone. Rob Christ along with my partner Shawn Leary. A revved up crowd here at Paulsboro. A showdown of the two top teams in the Colonial Conference, Paulsboro and Haddonfield, each winning their respective divisions. A lot on the line tonight in terms of bragging rights. Coaches would argue that not a lot on the line here in terms of the conference itself, but hey, this is a tune-up for both of these teams coming into the playoffs. Two teams that really would like to start fresh and start hot heading into the postseason.
Well, exactly right. This is the time of the year you really got to start playing your best basketball. A great tune-up. You look at both teams and the styles of play. It's going to be interesting because you got the Haddonfield, that hard-nosed style, in-your-face type basketball, and you got the Paulsboro athleticism out of the gym. So those styles are something you're going to see throughout the playoffs. So it's a nice tune-up, but more importantly, like you said, these guys are charged up for this game. You have two Colonial Conference powers, both teams winning their division. This is a Colonial Conference bragging rights in this game. They only meet once since it's a crossover in the divisions. So both teams charged up for the game. It should be a good one. I like the contrasting styles.
Haddonfield comes into this game off a tough loss versus Cherry Hill East. They are a team that boasts a balanced attack. 3 players averaging in double figures. They're led by Jake Sikkema, who has 15 points per game.
Well, Sikkema, he's that type of player. Hard-nosed. He's the epitome of Haddonfield basketball. That guy that's going to work on both sides of the court. Not only the leader in scoring, but more importantly, he plays defense. He's taken 21 charges this year. When you have your leader taking 21 charges, that filters through the rest of the team. That's a leader. He's that guy for Haddonfield.
You mentioned before this Paulsboro team, so athletic, so quick. They're really led by someone that personifies that in Xavier Lundy.
The X-Man. This is the guy that can light it up. He averages 20.1 points per game, but he's also a go-to guy. You know, with the cast of characters that you have here at Paulsboro, a great team. Guys play defense. Guys can score. Everybody's athletic, but you need a go-to guy in the playoffs. Here's a guy that's at a buzzer beater. He's at a game-winning shot, I think, with 5 seconds left. He's iced the game with 2 free throws. He's been in certain situations in the fourth quarter and stepped up to be that go-to player. You need that type of player going into the playoffs.
Paulsboro boasts such a rich sports tradition. Typically they talk football. During this time of year it's wrestling. But all the talk now is this 23-0 Paulsboro team. We'll have the tip for you in just a moment.
And now for the starting lineups for Haddonfield. At guard, number 21, freshman Nick DePerja. At guard, number 32, junior
Welcome back to Paulsboro High School. You see the Paulsboro Red Raiders getting ready for tonight's matchup. Coming into tonight, a record of 23-0. The Haddonfield Bulldogs, a mark of 19-5. Of course, the big win just a couple days ago against Paul VI, the team that had been ranked #1 earlier in the year. There you see head coach of Haddonfield, Dave Wiedemann. And on the opposite side, team skippered by Sean Collins. You see Paul Wiedemann with a record of 20-5 on the season.
Yeah, you look at the losses, Rob. I mean, this is a team that's lost 4 of their games by under 3 points. So they've been in games. The problem with Haddonfield right now is you have to wonder, the close games they have not been able to win. So that has to be a concern for Coach Wiedemann going in to the playoffs. For Paulsboro, they haven't had many close games. You know, it's that West Stepford football effect where you just beat up on teams. And then you go into the playoffs and you wonder, you know, are we as good as we think stepping outside of our conference? This is a test for Paulsboro, and certainly one they'd like to handle early, but you would like to see them close games and see if you can handle that pressure. It's only happened a couple times this year for the Red Raiders.
Alfred's pass intended for Lundy falls out of bounds, and first possession results in a turnover. This is a Haddonfield team that will have to break that 1-3-1 of Paulsboro. First open look for 3, rims out, pulled down, and it's Paulsboro's Donald Childress. They'll quickly get it over to Johnson, and Johnson up top to the big man, Davenport.
Yeah, Haddonfield's going to get in your face. They're going to try to limit Paulsboro touches, but the big fella able to deposit 2.
One of the things that Haddonfield likes about this matchup is it really mirrors a team that Haddonfield may face in the playoffs. Should it all break down, that is Willingboro. Again, another long pass intended for Lundy. And a couple turnovers here early for the Red Raiders.
Well, you look at Paulsboro and their type of style of play. They're going to press. They're going to try to create a lot of turnovers and use that athleticism to get up the floor. With Haddonfield, you kind of want to slow this team down. You expect in Group 1 that most teams are going to want to try to do this against Paulsboro. Try to slow them down. Teams like Pensgrove athletically are going to be able to hang with them if they have a matchup with them, or Woodbury. But teams are going to try to slow this team down.
The 3, no good by DePersia. And again, it's Johnson up top. Alfred looks for penetration. You know, we talked about the balance of this Haddonfield team the other night against Paul VI. The first 5 baskets from Paulsboro scored by 5 different players. Steal inside, laid up and in, Lundy.
Yeah, Lundy's just, like I mentioned, just a terrific player, averaging about 20 points per game, but just brings that leadership on the court. And there's plenty of guys on this team that can score. The X-Man just brings a coolness to him that just, when things are going badly, he's able to step up and make a big shot.
Pass intended for DePersia. Turned over, and Coach Wiedemann calls a timeout here. Paulsboro scoring the first 2 baskets. They lead 4-0 with 5:53 remaining in this first quarter. And again, one of the things that Coach Wiedemann talked about is the need for his team not to be intimidated both by this Paulsboro team, their record, and their fan base here. This is a proud program, a team that always enjoys tremendous support from their fan base, and you'll see as the game progresses that they will energize this Red Raider squad.
Well, the one thing you're going to get from the Dogs is they're going to play defense. They've limited teams to 43 points per game this year. Only 6 times teams have gotten over the 50 mark. So with Paulsboro, you have that scoring that you're expecting them to get their points. So taking care of the basketball is going to be really important on the offensive end for Haddonfield. You don't want to give Paulsboro the ball, especially in transition.
Beautiful block, and again, we talked about the defense of Haddonfield. That's how they've gotten it done. This has been a team that was really not expected to do a whole heck of a lot, and they've turned this into a magical season already. Ball rims in and out, tipped up, and it's Lundy. Lundy will quickly distribute, quick outlet pass, and inside Childress with the easy lay-in. 3 baskets 3 players on the scoring sheet here early for Paulsboro, kind of replicating what they did the other night against Paul VI.
I mean, you don't want to just give up on the offensive end and trying to get some offensive boards, but you have to be able to get back defensively. Teams are going to have to go and get back in that transition and limit Paulsboro's break.
Nothing doing. Here's Alfred. He'll push. Alfred comes out of his hand, and it's going to be a Haddonfield basketball.
Looked like it bounced off the knee.
You see
Alfred on the play.
There you see the 2 contrasting styles. You see Haddonfield, who would like to slow things down, try to make the game become more deliberate, and conversely, for this Paulsboro team, they want to really push the envelope. DePersia, quick outlet, and now Haddonfield will pull it back. DePersia, just a freshman. He and his twin brother have added so much to this Haddonfield team. Both twins, but not identical twins. Lundy knocks it away. Here comes Paulsboro again. It's Johnson looking for penetration. Johnson kicks it back, ends up with it. And again, looking for penetration. Johnson, and he scores. So now 4 scores on the score sheet for the Red Raiders. They're in trouble are the Bulldogs. Outlet pass, and this is going to be Paulsboro basketball. Calvin Johnson, again with strong defense. And Wiedemann has Robbie DePersia check in.
And another thing this does is it really, Haddonfield's in good condition, don't get me wrong, but Paulsboro's used to this pace of play. So what it'll do is it also wears you down as the game goes on. And Haddonfield, they'll need to first figure out this press and then slow the game down to get it to their pace. But turning the ball over is something that they're going to have to make sure that they find a way to just stop that early in this game.
8-0 here, 4:03 left, first quarter. And Johnson will inbound. Finds his man, Alfred at the top of the key. Looking to feed inside, Davenport off glass, no good. Tipped up, Paulsboro's DePersia. Held quickly outlet. On the break, and a beautiful play on defense by Calvin Johnson, denying the easy lay-in. Johnson has been a force here early, and that too will energize this Paulsboro home crowd. Haddonfield looking to crack the score sheet. Instead, they tally another turnover.
And that's the type of play, Rob, that makes you into a great team. You have an 8-0 lead. You still hustle back. You get the block. You don't give up the easy 2 points, and that's just a great play by Calvin Johnson. That's the reason why this team's undefeated still late in the season. Johnson,
the 5'10 senior, looks to distribute and finds Juwan Alfred. Alfred will bring it up top. And now easy look inside. Davenport! That brings the Paulsboro faithful out of their seats. 10-0. Haddonfield looks inside, laid up, and fouled, and good. Jake Sikkema.
Yeah, Jules with the dunk certainly energizes this team and this gym. This is a guy that's been terrific rebounding the ball, his ability to shoot, strength in the post. Dunked on a player against Sterling earlier in this year, ignited a run for Paulsboro. Hit a 3 to tie it up to send the game into overtime in the win against Lenape. So the big man has hit some big shots. And Robbie's got some good bloodlines. Michael Kidd Gilchrist. Heard of that name, a Kentucky player who grew up in Summerdale.
Off glass, Lundy can't convert on the rebound. Haddonfield will look to push. Ill-advised pass finds its way back into the hands of Lakatina. Across the timeline comes Robbie DePersia. DePersia, again, will slow things down, working against Lundy. That 1-3-1 defense that is so suffocating for this Paulsboro Red Raider team.
See, in this type of offense, the best way is to penetrate and then try to hit one of them back screens along the baseline to get an easy layup.
Three-pointer rims out. Nobody home except Red Raiders. It's Alfred. Alfred will push across the timeline and try to break down DePersia. Outlets. Lundy goes baseline, kicks it out. Take it away. Here comes DePersia. Nick DePersia, and he has it stolen right back. A little bit sloppy right now.
Also the speed of Johnson. I mean, that's just ridiculous where he came from on the court and to be able to swipe that from behind.
Lundy is fouled. Biddle does not like it. Felt that he had all ball.
It's an exciting team to watch. You see X looking at Oregon State, LaSalle, St. Joe's, Drexel, Miami, Delaware. Hit the game-winning shot against Lenape with 5 seconds on the clock. I mentioned that one. Had a couple important free throws. Another close game earlier this year. The guy, not only that, I mean, he's a kid that gets it, Rob. He has terrific grades. He's just an all-around good kid, well-respected in the school, well-liked in the school, leads by example. And I've always said, those are the type of guys that create championship teams. You need that special person, not only to do well on the court, but just by doing well in the school, that penetrates the rest of the team.
Three-point shot, no good. Tipped up, it's Haddonfield. A rare offensive rebound. They continue to swing. Open look, it's a two-pointer, rims in and out. And right now there's a lid on the basket for the Bulldogs. 10-3 your score here at Paulsboro. Crossover, kicks out Burgess. Strong, tipped up Lundy. Lundy distributes, and Red Raiders will start it all over again. Up top, Alford. Alford. And an open look for three is good.
Yeah, too easy. Too easy that time for Salim Little. The freshman, 6'3", 160 pounds, swing man. Can't give him that open look.
Three for Haddonfield is good. Splashed by Lacatina.
And Paulsboro knows coming into this game, one of the things they had to do was try to guard that three-point line, as Haddonfield has and always been a terrific shooting team.
Well, the steal there by Biddle, and the foul committed, the first by Juwan Alford.
Rob, what a great job Sean Collins has done here coming to Paulsboro. I mean, he's no short of talent here. This is a guy that's flat out one of the best coaches in South Jersey. He really emerged over the last 10 years. He had Paul Gauze at Shalleck, went to Life, and comes here to Paulsboro, and he's inherited a pretty talented team.
Beautiful running lay-in by Nick DePersia, the freshman. Heady stuff, and Paulsboro now with a 5-point edge. Little swings. Davenport inside Lundy. Lundy, power drive, knocked around, up, fouled, good. To the line, it's going to be Holloway, and he'll look to convert the three-point play. Holloway, just a freshman. This is a Paulsboro team who is deep and has a lot to look forward to in years to come.
Yeah, when you have the freshmen that are on the court right now, the contributing freshmen, you got little one Holloway, Burgess. Future is bright here at Paulsboro.
We're through 1 quarter of play. Paulsboro with the edge. Welcome back. We start the second quarter. Paulsboro with a 15-8 lead over the Haddonfield Bulldogs. DePersia. And we mentioned DePersia, just a freshman. And the twin brother of Robbie. It's interesting because not only are they twins, their stats mirror one another.
Yeah, 7.5 points per game, 4 assists per game, 2 steals per game for the point guard. Very disruptive on the defensive side of the ball. Distributes the ball well. Just there's some really good-looking freshmen in this Colonial Conference. When you factor in just these two teams, let alone what you have with the rest of the conference, Haddon Township and Haddon Heights, West Epic. These are some big programs here in the Colonial Conference dominating that Group 2 field.
Davenport with the foul. That's his first, third team foul. And although it seemed like that first quarter was truly dominated by Paulsboro, Haddonfield trailing by 7.
They've been able to stay in this game. And the way this team can shoot the basketball, Rob, they're going to stay in games because they can shoot. You can hit a couple of threes and get right back into a game. They're 7 points off now. But the one thing I keep mentioning is making sure they protect the basketball. Very difficult against this Paulsboro team. You're going to have turnovers. You just don't want those turnovers to turn into baskets on the opposite end.
Inside, Davenport is fouled. Well, if there are good fouls, that would have been it. Jake Sycamore committing the foul, and that again would have energized this crowd. Instead, it's Davenport to the line. He has 4 points, his first trip to the free stripe. You can see that big 6'8" junior, all of 245 pounds, and he hits the first.
The St. John's, Northwestern, Drexel, and Quinnipiac have expressed some interest in Davenport. He's a big kid. As I mentioned, he's one of the guys who will keep it loose, a funny guy, great personality. Again, a nice cast of characters here on this team. And very interesting where you see Xavier Lundy was kind of quiet, leads more by example, and we have some guys who like to keep the locker room loose. Not always has to be that leader, not only has to be that leading scorer, but you need a good group, and they have one here.
Well, Haddonfield has been forced to really throw up some long shots, and if that wasn't problem enough, they have not had many opportunities on the offensive end to pull down rebounds. Turnover here by the Red Raiders, and Shawn, that's the one thing that's keeping Haddonfield in the game, the turnovers by Paulsboro.
Well, Paulsboro, they don't particularly shoot well from the outside. Yeah, they can hit an open three with just about anybody, but they're not a team that's going to really hurt you from the outside. Their play is getting the ball down low in the post, driving to the basket, creating shots in transition. For Haddonfield, they're going to need to have those turnovers to stay in this game, against Paulsboro.
Open look here, no good, and foul called on Biddle.
And Biddle, Coach Wiedemann doesn't like that call at all. But the one thing is, you have to like that. At least Biddle is going for the offensive board. He's showing some aggression to try and get the board. At least that's important for Coach Wiedemann to see that from his young players.
I think he's more upset with the call itself rather than his players.
Oh, no, he's not. He's upset with the call, every bit of it. He couldn't stand that call. Saw him jump up. He's had his hands up like, where was the foul at, right?
And there you see the magic of Robbie DePersia. Again, remember, these DePersia twins, just freshmen. And if you talk to head coach Paul Wiedemann, he'll tell you they play a large role in the success of this Haddonfield team. This is a team that he said reminds him in some ways to a team way back when you were a youngin'. 2007, Shawn. That was the year after Brian Zubek graduated. No one expected anything from him. They went to the state finals. Biddle has his shot altered, and it's Davenport.
Well, the one thing they're going to learn tonight is these guys are going to have to get back in transition. They've done a really lousy job of doing that so far tonight, and as the game goes on, I'm sure they'll improve. But they're going to need to do that, especially you got teams like Willingboro coming in who's going to want to run and gun.
Calvin Johnson gets the home roll. 28. A double-digit lead now for the Red Raiders. 3, well short. Lundy. And right now, Haddonfield's just a little impatient, unlike it. A typical Bulldog team, and that's just too easy for Joanne Alford. 7 different Red Raiders have scored here already. 4:46 remaining in this first half. And wisely, Paul Wiedemann will call timeout. You mentioned that this is a team that in Haddonfield would like to go on and face Willingboro if all things work out. Of course, coming off a very tough loss against Cherry Hill East in the Cherry Hill East tournament.
Alford is on his drive to the basket. So you're going to get set. You're just about set, and Alford's already going to the basket. Those long threes, Rob, what it does is you have guys who are going to crash the boards. When you have that, you have guys, their momentum is going to the basket. Haddonfield's going to need those guards to immediately try to get back and stop the ball. And what's happening here is you're not stopping the ball. You got to force the pass. Alford going from coast to coast. Your defense isn't set in time, and especially off those 3-pointers, the long rebounds, Paulsboro is going to be able to get in transition and get easy baskets. You got to set up defensively, but that's going to start with stopping the basketball, making that pass. Then you get your defense set, because Haddonfield does have a good defense. You know, they'll be able to keep Paulsboro from going crazy here offensively, but you need to do these little things correctly.
Not how it was drawn up by Coach Wiedemann. A quick turnover here. And Paulsboro again on offense. 3-pointer, nothing but net. Derek Burgess becomes the 8th scorer for the Red Raiders. Right now, Haddonfield scratching their heads, having a tough time with the press and the stifling defense of the Red Raiders.
We just saw Burgess, a junior. He had a terrific game against Haddonfield in the football game. They shared 14 tackles against the Bulldogs in football.
Lundy, a long 3, rims out, tipped up, off glass and good. That looked to be Burgess.
Yeah. Once again, Burgess. He dropped 25 against Woodbury. He's had some good games in big situations, as I mentioned. 14 tackles against Haddonfield in football, a huge game during this fall season.
Laid up and in. Haddonfield's Billy Griffin with his first basket of the night. Again, a 3-pointer, no good. Nothing but Bulldogs to pull it down. And here comes Nick DePersia across the timeline. DePersia double team, throws it up and throws it away. Davenport. Coach Wiedemann very upset with his team's performance at this point. Tipped away.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be upset here. You see here with a putback by Burgess. What happens? Paulsboro's just pushing the wings. That's where they're getting these transition baskets. Really coming off the wing and done a nice job spotting up and hitting a couple of threes as well.
Alford feeds inside, Lundy good.
What a terrific pass by Alford. Alford, the senior, 6 foot, 175 pounds, distributes the basketball extremely well, and that was just a good find.
Tipped up again, stolen away. And DePersia with solid defense. This is a situation, if you're a coach, Shawn, and you're Paul Wiedemann, you just want to get through the first half and try to figure it out. Maybe allow his team to get themselves together and hope for better things in the second half. 2:38 remaining in this first half. It's been all Paulsboro, 29-10.
You just want to just take these 2 minutes, 30 seconds and just go into a spurt. Hopefully maybe you can drop a couple of threes, get a 6-0 run, cut it to 13 points, maybe 12. And it's going to be a tough task when you're not able to at all stop this team defensively, either in transition or even in a half-court game right now.
Crossover dribble inside, Lundy good. That's low-hanging fruit there. Good feed, open look, 3, no good, and nobody home but Lundy. 31-10.
See, now, nice job defensively. You stop the ball and force Paulsboro into turnover, but a nice job defensively stopping the basketball.
Kick to the wing, that's going to be 2. Rims out once again. And Haddonfield in this frantic pace that really favors Paulsboro.
And what do I mean by picking up the basketballs is forcing them to stop dribbling, forcing them to not continue to drive toward the basket. Once you stop that flow, then you're able to step back defensively and get your team ready. And again, this Haddonfield team does have a good defense. They're able to rebound the ball well. They use their bodies effectively. But the problem is they have to be able to stop it and get set up into that half-court defense.
Tipped up. And again, Lundy now stolen away by Haddonfield. It's been helter-skelter here. And a foul called
That's
going to
a
go
good call.
against Calvin Johnson. Johnson with 5 points, 3 coming in this second quarter.
He didn't like
Coach
the call.
Collins will call timeout here. Let's take a look at the South Jersey top 10 hoop rankings. And a lot of people are a little upset here in Paulsboro because they have a team that's 23-0 that is ranked behind both Willingboro and Bishop Eustis, according to the Philadelphia Inquirer. It's hard to argue with the fans here in Paulsboro, a team that came up with a big victory over Fall the Sixth, a team that had been ranked 1 just the week prior.
Yeah, I mean, exactly right. They've had some big wins. You mentioned Paul VI, the win against Lenape, and they've had some close games that have gone their way against Haddon Township and Haddon Heights in its own conference. You know, the nice win against Life Center at the RV against at the Life Center. Shawn Collins has done a fantastic job of getting this team ready to play every single opponent that's been on its schedule. And there's only been 2 games that have been relatively close. They've been able to have most of their games be double-digit victories. And I'll tell you, it's not, you might look at football and say, well, with football with Paulsboro, West Deptford, and Haddonfield, and then there's the rest of the teams. The Colonial Conference is stacked in basketball. There's a lot of good teams, and then any night you have teams like Haddon Township, Haddon Heights. Sterling over the years has been tough. Collingswood has been tough over the years. He has some quality opponents.
This Paulsboro team so deep, as we mentioned already, 8 different scores with points. And again, a careless turnover by Robbie DePersia. Just atypical for this Haddonfield team that's typically very, very good in protecting the basketball. Wild drive inside, and this will be a jump ball after that scrum.
Scrum ensues. But you know what? The difference in between football and basketball is with basketball, you'll find out who's the number 1 team. You get an opportunity. Unlike football, you get that chance. So at the end of the year, it'll all be washed out. We'll see if Paulsboro is indeed.
43 seconds left. 31-10. Feed inside, laid up, no good, tipped up, and it's Biddle. Biddle finds DePersia. DePersia with 35 seconds remaining will feed, and across the timeline to Lakatina. Back to DePersia. Open 3, short. Inside Lakatina, fouled, and it won't fall for the big Mike Lakatina, the 6'4" senior.
He comes in here 13 points per game, 8.5 rebounds per game. He's been a 3-year starter. Very good outside shooter. He can rebound the ball. And that's something that, from this Haddonfield team, making free throws, shooting the ball from the outside, their strength.
Haddonfield has just scored 3 points now in this second quarter. A basket by Griffin and the 1 free throw. Down to 20 seconds remaining. 31-11. Alfred looks for penetration, finds Lundy at the stripe. Good.
They can beat you in so many ways, Rob. I mean, this is the first time that I'm seeing Paulsboro this year. And this team can beat you in so many ways. 11 points for Haddonfield. Not only beating you on the offensive end, but they're playing an excellent defense.
Well, you can see why this Paulsboro team is undefeated. They head to the locker room at the half, ahead by 22.
Back here at halftime at Paulsboro, and I have a special guest. Whole reason we're able to show you this game is because of the guy next to me, and it's Bob Delella, clerk at the Gloucester County Board, but also, more importantly, you own Cruise
Outlets and Travel in West Deptford.
Too many words for me.
That's okay.
And it's on. It's in West Deptford.
It's in West Deptford. It's on Kings Highway.
Kings Highway. And Bob, now listen. I know in 1973 you were the man here on this squad.
Right. We're still looking for that 1,000-point ball, but I don't think we'll ever find it.
played here in 1973, so you know a little bit about Paulsboro. You had a chance to see both of these teams, Haddonfield on Paulsboro on Saturday, so you're a basketball fan, still heavily involved. We'll talk about your business in just a minute. Let's talk a little basketball. So you're able to see both these teams. You're still a basketball fan.
Absolutely. Saturday at the Cherry Hill East Invitational, Haddonfield played Cherry Hill East. I think the coach would like to have the last few minutes back of the Haddonfield coach, but both teams are well coached. I think it's going to get a lot closer later on. And then, of course, Paulsboro just came out and handled Paul VI, which was an awesome performance by a team that's really good, really good.
I mean, you've seen your share of pretty good Paulsboro athletes come through, some pretty good basketball players. How does this team stack up with some of the ones you've seen in the past? Because there's a lot of guys that can beat you, but it seems like there's great chemistry on the floor.
Well, not only do they have great athletes, it looks like they know how to play the game. Coach Collins has them playing at an awesome level. And as soon as some of the older kids get a little tired, he puts 2 freshmen in the game, and they don't lose anything. And, of course, the Lundy kid is phenomenal. Look forward to seeing him next year and then playing at the next level. But this is what the Gloucester County Television Network wants to do, is show and showcase the kids throughout the county and the great things that they're doing.
Yeah, we have plenty of local talent here that really deserves some recognition. Why do you want to get involved? Why do you think it's important to get involved with local cable and to continue this going?
Well, first of all, when Comcast gave up Channel 5, the freeholders said we did not want to lose it. So we took over Channel 5. It's an opportunity for us to showcase our kids, not only just athletics. I mean, we recognized the West Deptford band a few weeks ago in the championship that they won. And quite frankly, we want to show a lot of the kids throughout the county. So we're going to look for corporate sponsors. When John Mondelli and I met, we sat and talked about what we could do. I told him I have a travel business. We'll be the first one to put the money up. My hope is that I can send out a little challenge to some of the other corporations and get them to pop with some resources.
I mean, I own a business too, and it's a great way to start advertising. You're reaching so many people, not only in Gloucester County, but the surrounding counties. People are going to watch us on TV and any advertising, especially when you're able to see, your business being involved in the community. That gives you that little remembering tool to say, hey, listen, if I'm going to travel, I'm going to go see Bob.
Absolutely. And the thing about it is, it was easy to pick these kids from Paulsboro. They're undefeated. They have a right. They deserve to be on TV. They deserve to have the recognition. And not only as a graduate of Paulsboro, I just wanted to get these kids on here first. And hopefully we can get kids from all over the county also.
Now, we don't want to see many traveling tonight. No traveling calls from Paulsboro. But if people want to come, hey, they want to stop down by Kings Highway and travel some packages, what are some of the things you guys offer there?
Well, we offer the normal. I mean, Disney, cruises. We've got the whole package there. But the most important thing tonight, I want to talk to the other businesses in Gloucester County. Call John Mondelli at the Gloucester County Institute of Technology. Call me at the clerk of the board's office and step up and let's showcase these kids. We've got control of the station now. It's the Gloucester County Educational Network. It's going to be shown on Channel 5. And I hope this is the start of a lot of coverage that we do for our kids in the county.
You're not just a pretty face and one of the best all-time players at Paulsboro. Hey, at least you were able to play in
9,994 away from 1,000. But
you look like he could have been a good point guard back in the day.
Absolutely.
Well, we want to thank you very much for sponsoring tonight's game. I mean, it's a terrific game. You're able to see really the best team right now in South Jersey. You can't say that there's anybody hotter in Paulsboro. We're going to have the second half tip-off in just a minute. We'll be back here on the GCEN.
Welcome back to Paulsboro. We start the third quarter. A sizable lead for the Red Raiders, 33-11 over the Bulldogs. Three-point shot, rims in and out, knocked away. Possession will stay right here with the Bulldogs. Shawn, again, somewhat deflating for this Haddonfield team. What's the talk in the locker room?
Well, right now it's protecting the basketball, getting back defensively, stopping transition, and guarding the paint as best as possible. Everyone's got to help out on the boards, and there's a lot of things there. But there's a lot of things because it's a 28-point deficit that you're facing at half. Now this Paulsboro team is just so athletically tough. I mean, they can beat you in so many ways. And, Haddonfield kind of showing its age a little bit here in this game. It's a young team with a lot of promise, but they still have plenty of things to work on.
Childress will head to the free throw line. We mentioned before the balance of this team. Childress, one of 8 scores. He scored a pair in that first quarter. And Childress, 6-foot senior point guard, will add to his total.
Does a good job of passing, looking for the open teammate. You know, he doesn't force anything, tries to get the best shot possible, and that's really what you want from one of your guards.
One of 2 from the free throw line, and Haddonfield now will look to chip away. That inside, knocked away. Up, no good. Off glass. And they'll look to convert a 3. As finally, Jake Sycamore will head to the free throw line. He has a 3-point play earlier in that first quarter. Believe it or not, Shawn, if Sycamore hits the shot, which he does, they equal the total of the entire second quarter.
They really did not play well, really, in that entire first half. But, you know, it's a nice start to this second half as you get the block from behind. Now you see a little bit of fire in this Haddonfield team, and they're around the basketball right now.
Open look 3 is short. Once again, it's Johnson with the rebound.
Now that time, they hustle back. You saw them sprinting back. They set up defensively. You still can't leave the X-Man underneath the basket that alone, but, you know, that's a lot better transition defense for Haddonfield. They got back and forced Paulsboro into that half-court set, although they make the great pass and score on the play.
Lundy with a quiet 10 here. He leads all scorers. 36-14, Paulsboro. To the wing, inside look, and again, you see the defense, but it's DePersia who comes away, but Johnson with a fine defensive play. Biddle will push, jump shot, Biddle block, back to Biddle. Feed, inside baseline, and a foul called. Sycamore
using the left hand effectively. You know, right now, Rob, you're looking at this team and you say, for Haddonfield, what are you most looking at? Is to really play much better here in the second half. It's a learning tool, is all you can use really for this game. Are you going to be able to come back against a Paulsboro team you're not going to shut them down offensively? Maybe you do. Maybe you do. Maybe you start hitting some threes and you get back into this game, get a run together. But more importantly, you just really want to now figure something out here in the second half and take it into the playoffs. You're going to see high-quality teams in the playoffs, teams that have this type of athleticism, and you want to see how you respond to it. Good luck.
Sycamore would love to have that back. Paulsboro will look to add to their 22-point edge. Stolen away. Sycamore on the break, and he's tripped up.
He went down hard, too. You know, piggybacking off of what, we had a great halftime interview with Bob DeLella, who's a guy who's really an asset to the county of what he does, both in public service, but also just a guy that likes to be around sports, likes to stay involved with his community. You're looking at, advertising on GCEN, it's relatively inexpensive. It's not as much as you would think. The business owners out there, make the call. Take a look. That's a double dribble. Make the call and just check out the rates. You'd be very surprised how much it would cost to sponsor one of these games.
It's a great opportunity, too, to just kind of start your advertising. Get yourself a spot produced. And now, all of a sudden, you expand your customer and client base. Inside Lundy, laid up and in.
I just love this player, Lundy. And he's not only what's best about him is he gets it. He's a well-rounded guy, not just a terrific basketball player, but also works really hard in the classroom, tries to have that great personality, be a leader in the school.
Davenport up top. And it looked like Burgess may have gotten away with a couple extra steps. 40-14. Of course, we've got the playoffs coming up soon, Shawn. We'll talk a little bit about that momentarily. DePersia for 3. Not much going the way of Haddonfield. Stripped away nicely. Here comes Alfred. And Alfred will look to distribute.
Yeah, what Lacatena did that time is he brought the ball down and put it where the guard was able to strip it. You want to hold that basketball tight to your body and go up strong. That time he just held the ball away from him, and you can't do that around Johnson. Johnson's going to swipe that Alford every time. Johnson coming into the game, that was Alford that swipe.
Top seed in Group 4 in the South Jersey playoffs, Eastern. First round take on Washington Township. I'll tell you, Eastern will have their hands full if they can advance against an Atlantic City team that's a 5 seed. Atlantic City really starting to get it together. So probably those are the 2 teams to beat, but you can never discount Shawnee, the returning champions in Group 4. Over in Group 3, of course, you have a Delsey team that has done exceptionally well, but speaking with Kent Carr, he really likes the Camden team. They've had the point guard transferred in, and they're really starting to hit all cylinders here.
Kent Carr, the head coach of Pennsgrove's boys team, the team in Group 1 that Paulsboro might have a chance to face.
Davenport, just a little bit too much mustard on that, but fans here love it. Down in Group 2, of course, we talked about this Haddonfield team, and Haddon Heights the top seed, but I think the prohibitive favorite is Willingboro. Of course, we mentioned before that you have Willingboro, who is ranked #1 in South Jersey, just ahead of Bishop Eustace. Inside, off glass, kissed and in by Lacatena. He has 6.
Wouldn't it be fun to see the matchup of Willingboro and Paulsboro just up and down the court? Style of play is very similar to one another.
Of course, as you mentioned in basketball, it is conceivable they would have to move on to the state game, to the Tournament of Champions. And we mentioned in Group 1, Paulsboro. In Group 1, the prohibitive favorite here. And Kemp Carr says that he likes his chances against this Paulsboro
They're playing
team.
well.
Yep.
12 of 13 in the last 13 games they've won. Playing the best basketball at the end of the year. Yeah, I mean, you're right. They're going to have their hands full. The one thing is Pennsgrove has improved. Since Kemp Carr's taken that team over, they have improved defensively. Their mindset is play good defense. He stresses it. He talks about it constantly. He talks about it with us. He talks about it with anybody who will listen down there. And the team has bought into it. And Paulsboro is going to, they're going to want to advance to that tournament. They're going to have to play really good defense as well. And we've seen that here tonight where they can shut it down with the best of them. 16 points here in the third quarter. Not that Haddonfield is a team that's going to light it up, but they've been able to defend the perimeter. They get back. They turn the ball over. You're going up against some young guards here for Haddonfield who are going to make mistakes as freshmen. This is a Paulsboro team that can lock you down.
Lundy hits both ends. It's now 42-16.
And don't forget Woodbury. Woodbury's the team that really tested Paulsboro.
Haddonfield will start it all over again.
Paulsboro went on a 14-0 run in that game and kind of put it away, but for a while there, Woodbury's able to hang. They have some athletes on that team as well.
Paulsboro still fighting. Johnson wanted that. It's 42-16 with 2:36 left. And if you're Coach Wiedemann here, Shawn, you have to be disappointed because this is not the type of game that you really want heading towards the playoffs. And that's a tough call as some contact made by Holloway, and results in a turnover by the Bulldogs.
Yeah, you can see the inexperience at the guard positions for Haddonfield, some mistakes being made, not being able to stop the transition. And that's something that these younger guys are going to work. I mean, they can score, they know how to play basketball, but facing the team with this type of explosion, you're going to have some learning pains, some growing pains. Looking at this Paulsboro crowd, there's a good crowd in here. Nice night to come in. There's no snow on the ground outside. You got your favorite tie on.
I don't know if it's my favorite, but
it's one of my favorite.
Yeah, right now there, I don't know if you could call it South Jersey royalty, but Jack Collins, of course, the father of Sean Collins right there, used to be Speaker of the House in the state of New Jersey. And You know, a lot of people really talked for a long time about him becoming the governor of New Jersey, and he probably had that opportunity. He chose to step away and live the quiet lifestyle, and you know what? That really illustrates why he's an intelligent man.
He's also got a Jeremy Lin jersey on right now. Harvard guy, right? He's got
That's right.
Harvard's #1 guy right now, I would say.
Yeah.
Unless you graduated from Harvard. You graduated from Harvard.
I could probably spell Harvard, and that's about it.
That's even in question. Hey, listen. We're 2 minutes, 15 seconds into the third quarter. Before I forget, I want to wish you a happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Lundy lays it up and in. And Lundy is just continuing to add to his totals.
You either look terrible for 30 or really good for 60.
Somewhere in between. It's awful some of the time.
Pass inside. And you get the push. Now see, that's a good look inside. You're working the basketball, trying to find the open cutters. Haddonfield, not exactly the way, but they have that same type of style as Gloucester Catholic, where they're going to move the basketball around, try to find the best possible shot. And they've been able to do that against most opponents. The one thing that Paulsboro has been able to do is they've been able to get hands on a lot of the passes. They're deflecting passes, being able to use their skills and their jump to be able to get up and get the basketball after they tip it. So, that's been a problem for Haddonfield. If they work the ball around, they do have those guys that can knock them down.
8 points for Haddonfield. That equals their first quarter total. Again, we talked about them just scoring 3 in that second quarter. Right now, again, if you're Haddonfield, you're looking for small victories. Maybe win this last a minute and a half for the third quarter, win the fourth quarter, whatever it may be. But this is a team to be reckoned with, and there's a good chance Haddonfield's not going to see a team like Paulsboro for some time until maybe they get to Willingboro in the playoffs, if they're fortunate enough to get that far. Tipped up again, distributed to Persia, short. And now Haddonfield getting some rebounds to the wing.
See, without Davenport in the game, that allows Haddonfield a better opportunity to rebound, to get some boards, be able to get a couple of putbacks and try to make this lead a little easier to look at. It's a pretty much insurmountable lead right here at this point in the game, but with Davenport coming back in the game, again, you hit a couple of shots, makes it look better, gives you a little bit of a spurt.
Lundy with another steal. Coming into this game, it was much anticipated. Both teams winning their respective divisions, as we talked about in the open. Haddonfield with a nice 19-5 mark, and a Paulsboro the Gaudy 23-0. I think everybody anticipated a game much more competitive.
Yeah, more competitive, but when you look at the matchups, Rob, this certainly favors Paulsboro. The distinct height advantage, the physical play underneath. Haddonfield does not match up well with this team. They don't have a body that can really get on Davenport. You got guys like X who can jump out of the gym. So those type of mismatches, and the fact that the guard play, you have inexperience at your guards for Haddonfield. Not that we expected a 25-point deficit here going into the fourth quarter. We certainly expected something closer. But you can see that these two teams are a little bit apart from one another. This is no indication either on how Haddonfield has played this year. They've played much better than this. But some of their weaknesses, Paulsboro is able to exploit a little bit more than some other teams.
44 seconds remaining, and Davenport is short. Inside rebound, and Haddonfield comes away with it. Davenport now 3 for 4 from the free throw line on the evening. To the wing, Bulldogs look to distribute. They'll kick it and they'll find it. Biddle. Now Sycamore kicks, wing, 3. Too strong, tipped up to Persia. To his twin, Robbie. Again, it's Biddle. Down to 15 seconds remaining. Long three-point shot, off glass, no good, tipped up, and it's Nicky to Persia. Fed inside, Sycamore, strip. Haddonfield basketball with 8 ticks.
Haddonfield coming into this game really had respect a lot for Xavier Lundy. Paul Wiedemann says he thinks he's the best player in South Jersey. The way he posts ups and is able to shoot from the outside, just a very versatile type player. But I'm sure that he's seeing this team as a complete team as we are. And it's not just X who is a factor here for this team. There are so many guys that can hurt you in so many different ways.
That last sequence there, kind of a microcosm of the night for Haddonfield. A little 6-foot jumper doesn't go. 9 out of 10 times they're going to make that shot. Tonight is the 10th time, apparently. To the free throw line, it's Johnson. This will be his first trip in the 1-and-1. He has 5 tonight. Tipped up, Lundy, no good. And a big collision there, and Lundy and Davenport down on the floor. Collins holding his breath, and that'll do it here for the third quarter. We'll step away through 3 at Paulsboro. The Red Raiders with a sizable margin over the Bulldogs, 45-19. Welcome back to Paulsboro High School. Fourth quarter here on the Gloucester County Educational Network. And it's been all Red Raiders tonight. Davenport's fastball high and inside.
Yeah, that would have hit the backstop.
I'd like to see him on the hill, huh? That would be intimidating.
Hey, 6'8".
Little J.R. Richard action.
Yeah, he's plenty of interest in Davenport. Like I mentioned, Michael Kidd Gilchrist. It's Summerdale. Now with Kentucky, one of the top recruits in the country this past season. Now with Kentucky, and the Kentucky team pretty good, #1, but right on the heels is the Cuse, #2. Some great college basketball this year with those two teams.
No good. Syracuse surviving.
Yeah, they're going to get Davenport with a push on Biddle right after the play. Just had a little shove.
Syracuse surviving the other night against Rutgers.
Yeah, Rutgers played tough. They play them tough, but
it's a very young Rutgers team and
very dominating Syracuse team. Best team in the country, I think.
Biddle to the free throw line. It's the first.
Biddle, he's 8 points per game this year, 3-year starter. Nice player inside and out, great leaping ability, but down in that post, he's the man. Very difficult to hold off this Paulsboro team down in the paint.
Biddle with that free throw.
Good hustle. That's a nice attempt, nice effort by second to challenge that Paulsboro.
Nice look, Alfred, inside foul.
Yeah, he's hit hard too in the back. Getting a little physical. I mean, Haddonfield's not going to back down. They're going to challenge it. They're not afraid to come in here, and they're not going to get intimidated. They've had a couple of hard fouls. I don't think anything intentional, Rob, but just, they're playing aggressive. This is a really intelligent player. I really like the way that Childress and Levon, older sister, graduated from Paulsboro.
Childress 1 of 3 tonight from the free throw line.
That's when you go. 26-point lead, Rob. This is a dominating performance by the Red Raiders.
Persia looks to penetrate. The Persia tipped away by Lundy. Davenport comes away. Outlets. And it's Paulsboro once again with possession. Davenport. Johnson now. And Alford looks to start things over. Johnson penetrates, feeds inside. Davenport up and in.
Ball slipped out of the hands of Lundy, but Davenport was able to pick it up, deposit the bucket.
Rims out. Johnson, outlet. Laid up and in. Donald Childress. 6 points for Childress. It's 50-20. Paulsboro still pressing.
An opportunity there to give it the basketball, but she'll just say, listen, we're TV tonight. I'm not going to give it up so easy.
Again, rims out Sycamore, throws it up, no good, pulled down Johnson. Johnson, again looking for the quick outlet instead. Finds Alfred, back to Johnson, and now Alfred across the timeline. The crossover working against DePersia. DePersia knocks it away.
Yeah, Johnson, you could see in just his face, you could see he has related to Kevin Johnson. Isaac Redman, Kevin Harvey, Yamin Johnson. That family has produced some just ridiculous athletes
Kevin
here.
Johnson, one of my favorite players to watch.
Absolutely.
I mean, on the football field, just a monster.
Rob, I agree with you.
Lundy.
I liked his demeanor on the court. I love the way he played. Just the way I think he was underrated as well. I don't think a lot of people would talk about Kevin because there were some other terrific players in that run for Paulsboro, but he was a spark plug.
Griffin doubles his total. He has 4.
And he competed as hard as anybody I've ever seen.
And foul underneath. Robbie DePersia will go to the free throw line looking for his first points of the evening. You talk about Johnson on the basketball court. I loved watching him on the football field.
Either way,
Yeah.
I mean, he really, I really do believe he has to be in the top 3. I've been doing this for 14 years now. He's had to be in the top 3 of just competing, just being a competitor that I've seen. I mean, he had such a huge heart and would play and give everything that he absolutely had when he was either stepped on the football field or on the basketball court.
DePersia becomes the first non-starter for Haddonfield to score tonight. 52-24. Lundy finds Calvin Johnson. Johnson splits the defense, feeds inside. Lundy has it bounce off his hands. Here's DePersia. Behind the back, DePersia looks, penetrates. Scoops, no good. I tell you, you can just see that little sequence there, and you can see why Coach Paul Wiedemann's excited about these freshmen.
Yeah, I mean, they're competing. They're not backing down. They don't look or appear to be intimidated. They lack a little experience. The most important thing is being able to get back in that transition game. That's something that troubled them in the first half. They have done a better job of that here in the second half. Paulsboro with a lot of their points coming in the half-court game here in this second half. So Haddonfield's been able to spring back defensively and do better in that part of the game. But again, Paulsboro showing that this is a team that can hurt you in so many ways. It's not just a team who can get up and down the floor. This team can hurt you in the half-court game as well. The big thing is to really get deep is you also need to find that shooter, somebody who can spot up and hit a couple of threes when somebody's going to tighten up defensively. They'll find other teams in Group 1 that will match up a little better than Haddonfield will. You're going to need to be able to hit shots. Talking to Kevin Harvey, best athlete that we've ever seen. This is my chance to actually say the Gloucester County Hall of Fame. You got to put this guy in the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure what the reason it is why they haven't put him in the Hall of Fame yet. I think it's something they need to certainly look into. They need to get him in the Hall of Fame right away. And I don't know if they've approached him and he doesn't want to be a part of that. Not too sure. He's got to be there. He's the best athlete that we have seen in our era, hands down, in Gloucester County.
I think you could probably expand beyond Gloucester County. I mean, he was like a video game. Some of the things
amazing.
There are so many things that he was capable of, but I was always amazed that it seemed that every punt that he got was a touchdown, and after a while they just stopped punting to him.
For people who didn't get a chance to see him, you needed to try to find some videos somewhere because he was a highlight reel, and when he touched the football, everybody would just rise, and then punt returns, people would just rise because he wanted to see this guy make plays. And, you know, he certainly did that not only as a punt returner, but as a quarterback as well. Just fantastic. Would be able to throw the ball 50, 60 yards downfield, you know, run, make ridiculous plays in the backfield to open himself up for a long run. Just fantastic. And he needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I guess the best analogy would be watching Michael Vick. He could just extend the play and just has an extraordinary arm. And Harvey would just, you couldn't win as a defenseman, as a defense against Harvey, because, you know, if you allowed him time back there, he would eat you up through the air. And if you pressured him, then he would beat you with his legs. Inside foul called. Well, Robbie DePergia has quietly hit 6 straight free throws, Shawn, and he now leads the team in scoring with 6, both he and Lakatina. All 6 points coming in this fourth quarter.
Also a chance to wish our best to John Vogeting. John's a Paulsboro guy. He's been a voice for wrestling here on Channel 5 for a number of years. Health has been a little bit of an issue for John throughout the wrestling season. And I know even, you know, basketball people know the oh brother, oh my, that used to come out of John Vogeting out of your TV on Channel 5. So we want to wish John the very best and a speedy recovery.
Yusuf Stafford now on the score sheet with his first of the night. Rims in and out, tipped away, and it's DePergia. That inside laid up and good. Mike Zaleski.
With Davenport and Lundy on the bench, that paint opens up a little bit. And Paulsboro here with a couple of guys getting some FaceTime here on Channel 5.
Biddle drives, Biddle laid up, and he'll head to the free throw line. Biddle with a free throw in the fourth quarter, his only points on the evening. 3:48 left, 54-30.
Now, I think this team really from the beginning of the year, when you're talking about Paulsboro, you know, you had the seniors that came out, the juniors. You knew what was expected of them. You knew what type of team they would have based on that group of players. What really inspired this team in the beginning of the year, and I think Juwan Alford was the one that really said this best, when they saw the freshmen step up and start playing the way they were capable of playing, that elevated the play of everybody else. That really starts getting you excited when you have a couple of guys to come in, make an immediate impact with already the talent that you had.
DePergia with a beautiful play and equal hustle play on the other end.
Well, there's one of them freshmen, Theo Holloway. Live, as they call him here. Cousins with Darius Quarles, who's a sophomore at St. Joe's. Comes in, makes an impact for this team. As I mentioned, he made those 4 free throws in the RV game, late in the game, which was key in that win. They've had guys who have had big moments. You know, I talked about X and the X factor for this Paulsboro team, but there's guys who have had big moments throughout the year. You don't get to 23-0 unless you have a collection of moments from your entire team.
On that play, Juwan Alford fouled out. He is a senior. This is senior night at Paulsboro, so unfortunately for Alford, his night will come to a close, and DePergia continues his impressive free throw display. 8 for 8 from the free throw line. That will certainly pay dividends in the postseason. Ball knocked up, and Paulsboro again with possession, as Coach Collins has cleared the bench essentially. Staying on the floor is Calvin Johnson, who is a senior in his last home game here. We talked before about this team. Childress, Alford, and Johnson, your only seniors for Paulsboro. There's Biddle with his first field goal of the night.
Again, we want to thank Cruise Outlet and Travel in West Deptford on Kings Highway. Thinking about stepping outside the area and going on a little cruise, take a vacation, Disney cruise.
Me and you?
Disney vacation? Yeah, sure, if you're paying. You make the big bucks.
It's not what I was thinking.
That's not what
Biddle at the top. Feeds Nicky DePergia. DePergia to his brother Robbie. Stripped away and a foul call. Calvin Johnson not particularly pleased. He has 4 fouls now.
Any call that's going against Paulsboro, Calvin Johnson is not agreed with. Hey, listen, if you're not going to argue for yourself, no one's going to argue for you. So, yeah, he certainly is one of those secondary coaches on the floor who is going to get in the referee's ear a little bit.
Well, again, this is senior night. He wants to stick around.
Impressive performance tonight for this Paulsboro team. As I mentioned, they're not really tested in too many games this year. They had a 3-point victory all the way back in December 20th against Haddon Township. Deptford held them to an 8-point victory. But you go down a 4-point victory against Haddon Heights January 12th. But you look down the schedule from there. Haddon Township, an 8-point victory against them, a 3-point victory against BCIT. There is not many close games. Of course, the Lenape game, the 1-point victory. But even the number 1 team in South Jersey at the time, Paul VI, that was a 10-point win. There has not been many close games for this Paulsboro team, which leads to the question, Rob, is this a team they haven't been in enough close games? When you get to a close game, is that something that would concern you? You being a coach, how much does that concern you going into a playoff?
Well, I think it does concern me if I was a coach. However, that Paul VI game, I think, really spoke volumes about this team because you have a huge setting over there at Cherry Hill East. You have a packed house and a neutral site. A team that was the favorite in Paul VI and a team that was coming roaring back at the end. And Paulsboro really showed their mettle there. And I think that's really going to pay dividends down the stretch.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, you're exactly right. The fact that you have played against some high-quality competition. Now, in football, you have the teams on your schedule. There's not much you can do about that. With basketball, you have some opponents like Lenape, a Group 4 school. We mentioned already Bishop Eustace and Paul VI, and some of these other teams that have, you're able to at least schedule. Put back by Davenport, the junior.
I think you're going to start seeing a lot more matchups like that, Sean, because right now the NJSIA is considering going to PowerPoints in all sports.
Oh, yeah. PowerPoint system. In fact, Gloucester County Times will have a big report on that. Sunday's paper, Sunday, February, February 29th?
Will you deliver that to my house?
I don't know when it is actually. 27th. February 27th.
Will you deliver that to my house?
Come back down. You're a Gateway guy.
26th, actually.
26th,
yes.
Sunday? You'll be able to know all about this playoff format and the seedings in the Gloucester County Times.
I know that in baseball they're talking about that. And
yep. Softball, baseball.
Group 4 schools have a little easier time scheduling.
Because some of those formulas that they use and try to figure out PowerPoints and seedings and how that you need some type of degree to try and figure that out. But we got some quality and intelligent individuals at our newspaper that have figured stuff like that out. So it's coming. Take a look.
I'm looking forward to it. Guys always do a great job over there.
Got a good group. Rob Edwards, who covers boys basketball, is in the house tonight covering this game over at the press
Rob.
table. Guy who knows a great deal about boys basketball. Follow some of his some boys notebook and some blogs coming up from Rob. See that on nj.com/Gloucester. Give my guys a plug. They work hard, man. They work hard over there.
You know what?
See their stuff get recognized.
And they got a boss who's not easy to work for.
No. Not easy at all.
I'm sure you'll charge him later for the plug, but that's all right.
Well, slice of pizza here. Maybe night out over at Quincy's or something.
Another gratuitous plug on your part. You're always looking for a free meal.
Hey, you're no dummy. The salary that we make in newspaper business, you need a couple free meals.
Anybody else? You tried to get a cruise tonight.
Cruise outlet. Yeah. Let's go for the big one.
I was thinking either you're going to start talking realtors, builders, or automobile dealerships.
Go big or go home. Cruise Outlets and Travel in West Stafford. Just want to continue to mention them as our sponsor for tonight's game, bringing this end-to-end action. Paulsboro, a dominating performance tonight.
The Persia. Outlets to his brother Nicky. Nicky off glass and good. Nicky to Persia with 9.
Coach Wiedemann still coaching. Here with a minute 18 left. But he's a good coach. You got I'm telling you, two of the best coaches in basketball in South Jersey. And you're talking about Coach Collins or Coach Wiedemann.
See some of the nice crowd here on hand at Paulsboro. Incognito.
When you're 24-0, your fans are always having a good time.
With a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter.
You can put on shades, have a good time, plug your favorite eating establishment if you have some volume down there. Everyone's just having a good time here in Paulsboro, and they should be. The wrestling team, a very young team, did pretty well this year. You have this basketball team, which has got high expectations now. I mean, the time's coming here with just a week left. You get into this playoff format. You have the team, you went undefeated, there's going to be some high expectations.
All right, so let me ask you this question, Shawn. Let me start a little bit of controversy here. This team goes undefeated, goes to the state championship. Next year, is this a wrestling town or is this a basketball town?
I mean, it's both. I mean, they love their basketball, evident by the gym tonight. They've been really selling this place out for even the basketball games. But come on. It's swimming. It's wrestling. I mean, it's a wrestling town. It always has been. I mean, there's some terrific basketball teams, some terrific basketball players. But when wrestling season comes, I mean, this place shuts down and everyone's tuned in to what local papers are saying, who's doing what, who's coming up.
Talk about some of the athletes that came out of here. Of course, I think it's worth mentioning Alex Silvestro.
Oh yeah,
in the Super Bowl this year.
Absolutely, Alex Silvestro getting a chance to suit up on the final day where they brought Alex in. Alex is a wonderful kid. We had a chance to work with him on something goofy we did a couple years ago, the Stand Out, the little local reality show that we had. He was a part of that. We were real happy to see Alex dress up for the Super Bowl. Had a nice opportunity to play in the biggest game in the NFL. And some guys doing some big things. You also had, on the opposite side, Hendricks. First name escaped me, but Hendricks from Millville, who played with the Super Bowl champion Giants, played on the practice squad. Had a chance to play in a few games. So some South Jersey guys doing extremely well. Of course, Gary Brackett at Glassboro has been a guy that we've talked about for years, and Bryant McKinney.
I think Bryant McKinney and the Ravens felt like they were going to be in that Super Bowl.
I'd say here's a name to start
Joe
looking at.
Flacco, of course, another South Jersey guy.
Oh, there's plenty. I mean, even South Jersey, we can talk about so many of the players that are making some nice impacts. Remember Gerald Hodges coming up, talking about dominating performances. I seen him in a football game against West Stafford as a senior that just was a man amongst boys. I mean, he was unbelievable. Coming up, a big year for him at Penn State.
He was Big Ten Player of the Week, I believe, back-to-back weeks. It's heady stuff.
Yeah. He's expected to be drafted somewhere in the middle rounds, maybe second or third round, possibly.
Down to 36 seconds remaining now. Open three, good. Derek Burgess fills it up with his second three of the night. He has 10.
DB, now he's a shooter. This is a guy that can hit the open jump shot. And the depth on this team is what's going to carry it through to a possible state championship, a South Jersey final. I mean, these are the things that you're going to have to look at: is depth and be able to do everything well on the court. They did everything well tonight, did the Red Raiders.
The Red Raiders tonight, a convincing victory. If there was any question who the top team in the Colonial Conference is, it has been answered tonight. Paulsboro victorious 62 to 41. Stick around with post-game interviews and a wrap right after this.
Welcome back to Paulsboro High School. Paulsboro victorious 62-41 over Haddonfield. Rob Christ here with winning head coach Sean Collins. And coach, an impressive display. I know as a coach you probably said there's not a whole lot on the line, but I think the fans and the players would argue otherwise. A big matchup against a Colonial Conference rival. I always want to see who's top of the hill. You have to be impressed with the effort that your kids put forth, particularly in that first quarter.
Yeah, our defensive effort tonight was as good as it's been in any game, and we've had a lot of success this year by playing hard. But, that first half, we matched an intensity that I hadn't seen, so it was very enjoyable to watch and coach.
Well, this is the time of year when you want to see that effort. Let's go back a game against Paul VI. Mm-hmm. Obviously, an electric crowd there, a great setting, a team that had been ranked #1. Talk about what that does for your team in terms of their confidence, and also what it does in terms of your ability to know that you can match up against anyone come playoff time.
Okay, well, our philosophy has always been, even when I was a Shock, to really schedule heavy in the end of February. And so we did that in the beginning of the year. I'll tell you, my kids anticipated being undefeated. I don't know if I did. And it really worked out, Paul VI being #1. And, it was a playoff atmosphere. I couldn't have been happier with the way the atmosphere was set up and also the way my kids played. Like you said, it really prepares us for, Monday night gateway, which is obviously, where it all starts for our goals this year.
Of course, you come into this game undefeated, the only team undefeated. I know a lot of talk around town is that this is a team that deserves to be ranked #1. Mm-hmm. How do you deal with the distractions of being undefeated or, the talk of being #1? How do you keep your players' mind on the goal here?
Well, I was telling them before the game, if we were like 16-0, 17-0, I'd be worried about a letdown. But we're so close to the end now. If they have a letdown now, they're crazy, and I don't anticipate it. But as for the rankings, if you look at the teams ahead of us, they're really good. Our goal is to win section in the state championship. And at the end of this, if we're 32-0 and state champs, it's going to be hard not to be #1. And but that's our goal. So that's where we're at with this.
Well, again, I want to compliment you and your players. You've done an exceptional job here at Paulsboro. An impressive display by this Red Raider team. And Shawn Leary has come up some of those few players tonight on senior night.
We're here with a couple of seniors and a couple of key contributors, not only for the whole entire season, but certainly in tonight's game. We're going to start off with Calvin Johnson. Man, your motor just keeps on clicking. You don't stop. You're constantly either working the referees, working the ball, trying to get steals. Your motor just keeps on going.
Yeah, Coach told me I need to come out here and be a leader. That's what I bring to the team. Just try to go out there and give all my energy. Just get the team involved. I think, though, if I start off and give all energy and they see me working hard, the rest of the team just follow.
You've had a lot of some pretty influential figures in Paulsboro sports coming up watching them. Kevin Harvey, you related to Yamin, you related to Kevin Johnson. You've had a lot of guys to look up to and probably pick on you a little bit. Yeah. How have they been influential in your sports career?
They've been real influential. Like, Coach always tell me, that I need to stop. The way I talk to the players and, the way I try to get them motivated, I need to calm down a little bit. But growing up, that's how they raised me. They was just they always had a foot on my back. It was always hard growing up. They always was the best. Always try to be the best. So that's what I try. I just got to try to get the best out of everybody else. Lead us to an undefeated season. That's all I try to do.
And it's hard to play with a foot on your back.
Yeah.
Nice win tonight. Congratulations to you. Big win to you guys. And another senior coming here, Juwan.
How you doing, man?
And a terrific win for you guys. You dominated from the start. I mean, certainly came out with a lot of aggression. Chance to play Haddonfield, another division champion on the opposite side. After the win against Paul VI, was it hard to get ready for this game?
Coming in this game, we knew Haddonfield was going to be tough. And coming off of Paul VI was a great win. We know we got to keep up the intensity, just keep balling. And that's what we did. We came out with intensity, great intensity, actually, and we got the win.
You had mentioned, I think on one of your sheets, you talked about how the freshmen had come in and really provided a spark in the beginning of the year to say, hey, listen, now we have some depth as well.
Yeah. Freshmen is a big part of the season this year. Coming in, we knew they was going to get time, but we didn't know they was going to play like this. And they playing great, man. We just keep rolling,
This is a team that has terrific chemistry. Obviously, that big win against Paul VI, how much does that inspire you guys and give you momentum and a little confidence going into the postseason?
Even from the beginning of this season, we was looking forward to that game, man. Because I know over the recent years we played them and they beat us. And I know coming in this year, a lot of people said they was going to beat us. You know, we was the underdog. So coming into that game, we just wanted to play very hard and just show what we got.
Undefeated season for you guys. Congratulations. We'll talk to you. Two key contributors, obviously, and two seniors on this team that has done a great job. We didn't get Donald Childress on here, another senior. It's senior night, so we wanted to honor them a little bit. This is a team, Rob, and what I thought, I was able to talk with Mr. Collins, the big man, while we were walking down the steps, and he was telling me, this is one of the best games that he's seen this team play. A really complete 3 quarters of basketball in every phase of the game. I mean, they were truly dominant in this game, and really in every phase. This is a team, if they're playing at this type of a level, it's going to be extremely hard to beat them in Group 1. Coach Wiedemann is one of the best in South Jersey. You're able to use this now as a tool to really talk about your team and try to get them to start playing well going into the postseason, and some of the things to look out for here. There's plenty of coaches in the stands checking out and to see how teams reacted to certain situations, and they're going to use that against them. But you're going to need 2 good coaches in Collins and Wiedemann to protect against that and what they saw here tonight.
Both of these teams highly seeded in the playoffs. They have so much more to play for the rest of the way. Once again, the final score here from Paulsboro. It was the Red Raiders 62, the Bulldogs 41. For my partner, Shawn Leary, my director, Stan Ritter, our producer, John Mondelli, and all of the crew, I'm Rob Christ. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everybody.